everyone, and welcome to Fabric Tech Talk Fridays. I'm your host, Patrick LeBlanc, and today we have a very interesting topic, and I have a host of my friends from Microsoft here to talk to me about this. And so before we get started, why don't each of you tell the people who you are and what you do?
Sure. Thanks, Patrick. So my name is Miles Cole. I'm the principal program manager at Microsoft. Azure Data Cat team. Basically, we help customers be successful, and I'm a Spark specialist.
Hi, everybody. I'm Raki Raman. I'm a software engineer on the SQL Server Telemetry and Intelligence team. And we like to think we're the biggest customers of Fabric within Microsoft.
Hello, my name is Edgar Cote. I am Senior Program Manager in the CAT team, just like Miles. And in my case, I specialize in real-time intelligence and IQ.
All right. Okay. So, we've been here a couple of days now, and a lot of our conversations have been, how do I get started with Fabric? What if I want to do a pilot, a proof of concept? How do I just break in quickly? And I hear you guys have something to tell us about.
Yes, we have an exciting new community-centric offering we announced actually yesterday. It's called Fabric Jumpstart. It is a single unified catalog so that you can find accelerators, tutorials, demos, things to get started extremely quickly. And guess what? It's all packaged up as a Python library, one-click install, Fabric Notebook, or locally in VS Code, and so you're minutes away from demoing or using some high-quality accelerator right in Fabric.
And so, how do I? Does it cost? Is it just part of my capacity when I deploy it?
Yes, you can deploy this in any workspace. You could deploy it in a new workspace, and it'll deploy the entire solution. Now, the really cool thing about this is it comes pre-wired, pre-hooked up with data that's synthetic, generated to showcase that specific use case.
So, but why? Tell me the history. How did you get started? Where did this come from?
Yeah, so, there's a lot of capabilities in Fabric. We've
Yeah.
got real-time intelligence, streaming stuff. We've got now ontologies and the data integration. Like, the scope that Fabric covers is insane,
Yeah.
right? And with that, there can be a lot of challenges that customers face just in where do I get started? How do I learn these different domains? Especially if, let's say I'm just a Power BI developer.
Yeah.
I find these new things. What do I do with it? How do I get started?
Sure.
So now Rocky and I, we were actually having a meeting back in December, November,
Yeah, before Christmas. Yeah.
right? And Rocky, maybe you can share a little bit of the feedback that you were sharing internally
Yeah.
to our team.
Sure. So the Jumpstart brand, it's actually like, it's within Microsoft already. So let me give you a backstory of like how it came to be. So basically, I come from a software engineering team called Azure Arc, like for SQL Server. It's like nothing to do with Fabric. It's just another product. And one of the things about Azure Arc is it's like a very complex domain, very similar to Fabric, where we try to bring Azure to like customers as data centers, right? So 3 years ago, the problem that we were facing in Azure Arc is that customers were really struggling to see like the value of how all of these interconnected services work. And like just being transparent, like when you have different workloads, like in Azure Arc or Fabric or whatever, not all teams are usually going to be like, they're always going to be focusing on their particular vertical, right?
Yeah.
They're not always going to be like, integration testing or looking at industry scenarios. They just don't have time. They're trying to build a product. And so if you can actually like, go on your favorite search engine and search for Azure Arc Jumpstart, yeah, Bing, and you'll find, you can find that Azure Arc Jumpstart is like an established brand. There's like a GitHub repo. Essentially, the idea was we wanted to take high quality technical accelerators, like not like shallow things, but like, real patterns that customers are facing in the industry. And then we would package that up into like a demonstration, so to speak, like kind of like what you do in Guy in the Cube, but kind of with more automation.
Sure.
And then we would just promise to customers that if you face any issues in deploying this solution, we here at Microsoft are going to support you on GitHub. Like we had like dedicated maintainers. So it was basically like a high quality way for you to go from zero to hero using Azure Arc. So as I said, I'm one of the biggest customers within Microsoft of Fabric. Like my team, we basically have petabytes of data inside Fabric. And so him and I and Kim, we were chatting on a call. And what I was saying is that, it's really difficult for a customer who doesn't know much about Fabric to actually see how you can solve business problems using all the solutions that we offer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we said, hey, in Azure Arc, we had this great thing called Jumpstart. Maybe we can go ahead and take that for a spin, see how it works in Fabric. And then Kim was like, I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We got the domain. I built the website originally. We put it up in a GitHub repo. Miles built the CLI. Edgar came in with a lot of solutions. And now you have Fabric Jumpstart. And basically, it's the same promise. We're going to have high quality accelerators. If there's any bugs, any problems that you're facing, just put it up on GitHub issue. One of us will answer it. We're going to have nightly tests on each of these solutions.
How many did you say?
So right now we have about, I think, 12 or so.
Yeah.
16.
16.
16.
But
Every day it grows.
the key part that I want to emphasize is it's really easy to just, take demos, maybe with AI or not, and just shove it against the wall.
Yeah.
What really makes, when you're a Fabric customer, you're scared of using this new solution. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work, if it's not going to work, I have to read all these docs. We are testing Jumpstarts every single night using GitHub Actions. So there's near 100% guarantee that it's going to work in any solution.
Wow. Yeah, wow. And so what's some examples of some of the jump starts that are available that people can, use?
Yeah, so to start, Rocky and I, as well as our colleague Anu, we ran a Spark engineering excellence workshop actually on Tuesday. And so given that we were planning for this workshop at the same time as we were building and architecting Fabric Jumpstart, we decided we're going to design all of our labs for our workshop to be Jumpstarts.
Yep.
Wow.
So that each of these lab modules are installable. And so to deploy our entire workshop, we just installed Jumpstart in 200 different workspaces.
Zero issues. It was perfect.
Yeah, first of all,
Absolutely amazing.
wow. Wow. Okay. So all these solutions is all going to be available on GitHub.
Yes.
We were going to show you a demo, but unfortunately we can't because we have some technical issues. They'll cut it in.
You can search it, Fabric Jumpstart. You can just go on web search and
You can search it and web search it. They're going to cut it in. So when we publish this out on the YouTubes, they'll cut the video in and you'll see the video. But since it's on GitHub, I may want to go and make some changes, add my own stuff. I hear you got some information on that.
So yes, one of the things is that Miles started with Rocky the Jumpstart, and I have been doing something similar for a long time because I have been deploying solutions with scripts. In this case, I started with some scripts directly to API, CLI, and so on. And one of the challenges that I was facing is how can I make this easier?
Yeah.
Then Miles present to me the Jumpstart, like, look, this is something that we're building. Do you want to contribute? Because, like I say, even last year we started doing the deployment workshops in this with RTI workshops, even in Vienna and Stockholm. But it was a lot of effort to be able to do it. And when we saw it, it was like, oh, it's really easy. You just need to get one workspace, everything set up, link it with GitHub, make it public, and with a YAML configuration file in the Jumpstart, then you get that automatically in the Jumpstart and all set up. And from there, what you're going to do is that you just need to execute the Jumpstart. You will see all the solutions that you develop, and you can deploy them from end to end.
Okay, so Patrick, if you wanted to contribute one, guess what? You don't need to write any automation to deploy your solution. You literally just link it to GitHub,
Yeah.
submit a PR with a couple points of metadata pointing to where it's located.
And then
It's done. Be done.
and you'll merge it in for them.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll test it. If there's any issues, we'll reach out to you. If you don't respond, we're gonna quarantine it. There's a whole process to make sure that the customer, when they try it, they're just gonna get a buttery smooth experience. That's what we want to do.
But guess what? We can show the demo now
Yeah.
because that's connected up on the screen. You want let Marusa, you wanna take it
All right. All right. So this is we're going to start with the Fabric Jumpstart website. So right here, right. So this is Fabric Jumpstart. We're going to scroll down to the bottom and we're going to see some featured Jumpstarts. So here we can see there's a demo so that you can demo and understand how Spark structured streaming works with RocksDB, building a lakehouse architecture, Spark streaming, building a real-time grid intelligence for an electrical electrical provider. And then here we have the catalog page where, let's say you want to filter by only community Jumpstarts. I want to see if people have contributed. You can do that. I'm going to filter by only data engineering because, hey, I want to learn about Spark, or I want to filter by RTI or Power BI because I want to learn about that specific domain. You can do that. Or if you're more kind of use case oriented, like, hey, I've got some batch processing, I've got some modeling I want to learn. And then here we're drilling into an actual Jumpstart where we can zoom in and see the actual architecture diagram of what's going to be installed. Some more information, high quality markdown, teaching the concepts of how this actually works. so that you're not kind of left with just a solution where, you're twiddling your thumbs, unsure of what to actually do. We really want to accelerate implementations here, upskill people. And so let's just go back and let's look at kind of one other one here, and then we'll actually install one here.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to pick a streaming solution, but we're going to pick this real-time grid intelligence because this is one of the most complex and involved jump starts we have right now. I mean, look at that. It's got everything. It's got lake houses, event houses, KQO dashboards, event streams, semantic models, data agents, just about everything. Right. And so in this solution, basically what's going to be installed here is we've got a public utility company that they've got all of this data streaming in, high volume, low latency. They've got weather events. They've got voltage tracking, vehicle telemetry, so they can track where their drivers for their fleet are actually going. And then, Edgar, do you want to walk us through
Yeah.
now what's actually
So in this case, we're also deploying the Jumpstart. The first thing was to install the Python library, which was Azure. Then we could list all the different Jumpstart also in Python, so we don't need to go to the web page. And here we can select the Python that we want, and we just copy in one line the installation command. In this case, the installation command is going to install all the different components that you are going to have, like what Miles was saying, the lake house, event house, event hub, everything. And it's going to be interconnected one on the other. This is one of the greatest things of Jumpstart is that you don't need to do manual steps. The only thing that you can do from there, and for this one that is a demo, is that you can open now a script that is going to generate synthetic data in real time. And once this script, you just look at everything that is used, is executing, it's going to start generating data and you will see data immediately.
look at that.
Wow.
It takes some seconds to get the data, but that's it.
But one of the exciting things that you said was once I deploy this and it's out there, you're also educated along the way,
Yeah.
right? And so there's, like you said, there's lots and lots of stuff in Fabric to learn how to use these things, to leverage these things. It can be challenging, it can be daunting. But if I use one of these jump starts, not only am I getting a end-to-end solution, but I'm also getting some education so that when I start implementing my own solution, I can leverage some of these techniques and strategies and possibly a lot of this solution to put my own item in production.
Like, for example, I learned a lot of star schema and data modeling from your videos, right?
Mm.
A lot of those concepts, we could just have Jumpstart that's like, oh, how to do like proper performant Kimball modeling, right? Like just whole tutorial, 5 minutes, you see it working, take it to your own project, you use the code, you're done.
That's impressive. And I want to add even something because the Jumpstart is not only about demos. It could be about accelerators. Let's talk that we have now real-time hub capacity events.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to track, we need to put the event stream, we want to put the event house, then we want to parse the data. We can use a Jumpstart that will install everything. It will even have a report, and that way you will be able to get your data immediately without having to do all the plumbing of this accelerator.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Miles, were you about to say something?
yeah, I was just gonna say that, another big part of this is the community contribution. So there's a lot of really cool demos and accelerators that people have built that are out in the community. And Fabric Jumpstart really becomes the unifying place where we can register these high quality solutions to build this kind of discoverability plane. And then we automatically manage for people the automation to deliver and install these solutions so that we can just take everything that's good and high quality out there and make it easily accessible to customers in, just a couple clicks in a couple minutes.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna wrap up with one question. What's next?
What's that? Start user?
What do we want or what we wish?
What you wish? What you wish?
Go. Serious answer. What's coming next is a lot more jump starts. We've got 16 right now. It's applicable to all workloads, all scenarios. So with what you see out there today, just know we're going to have a lot more coming: Power BI, Data Factory, data warehousing. Additionally, you saw the installation experiences in Python in a notebook, right? So for those who don't want to open a notebook, guess what? We've got you covered. Coming soon, we'll also have a native experience in the UI
There you go.
for exploring the catalog and installing these solutions.
Yes. Yeah. So lots of big things coming next, and we'll make sure there's some links in the description below of the video. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, from Microsoft and this guy, See you next Friday.
What a conversation. Everything you've been watching here was captured live at FabCon and SequelCon in Atlanta, from the interviews to the demos to the community insights that make these events so special. If you're into Microsoft Fabric, SQL, and the future of data, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And speaking of next, we're taking this show to Barcelona. FabCon and SequelCon Barcelona are happening this September 2026, and it's going to be packed with big announcements, deep technical sessions, and one amazing global data community. Hit the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen to register and use code FABTV to save €200 off your ticket. As always, thank you so much for watching. Keep being awesome, and we'll see you in the next one.